Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your man's Ken Jackson. This is the Ken Jackson Experience. We got a lot to talk about tonight.
Hey. See, the game is lame and absurd, but you spit. You need to sit back and observe a certified pimp. So oh, yes, he is. I mean, that boy does the shit. He's a mess, he is. Fresh to death. Ain't nobody fresh as he is. They can't compare. Won't get next to him because he's so fly. I mean, the boy's so clean. From his white tee home down to those jeans. You see the ice in the pinky.
All right. Welcome to the show. I am happy to be here. It's been an interesting month this past month. Donald Trump is on the rampage. In fact, King Donald, as I like to call him, is really wow. He is really doing the damn thing. You know what I mean? And we just, have to talk about what's going on. This man on February 19th, I don't know if he did it directly himself or had one of his aides do it, but on an official White House social media page, he basically declared himself a king. They posted this picture. It's a AI generated picture of him on a full cover of Time magazine, and the heading says "Long Live the King." Wow. So I told y'all this is what we had to look forward to. I told y'all that Donald Trump was going to do his best to become a king. And that's what he's doing. He's making it happen. But real quick, earlier, we found out that he has fired several generals. He's fired the Joint Chiefs of Staff along with two other senior military members.
President Donald Trump has fired three top military leaders. General Charles Brown, who has served as a chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff since October of 2023, Admiral Lisa Franchetti, the first woman to serve as Chief of Naval Operations, and General James Slife, Vice Chief of Staff for the Air Force. This move is just the beginning of changes at the Pentagon, which they plan to cut more than 5,000 probationary workers starting next week.
So, Donald Trump is cutting everybody that he feels like is a DEI hire. Now, the person that he picked to replace the Joint Chiefs of Staff is wholly unqualified. He was a lieutenant general, a 3-star. He was retired. It's unprecedented, for one, that a 3-star general is elevated directly to Joint Chiefs of Staff, being the fact that normally Joint Chiefs are former combatant commanders or former department heads from within the military, from within the active service. But he took a retired 3-star Air Force general and elevated him to Joint Chiefs of Staff. Totally disgraceful. Totally ridiculous. As we know, with a lot of Donald Trump's, or with not a lot of them, but with all of Donald Trump's cabinet appointments, I can't. I don't know. I can't even speak on it. But King Donald is in full effect right now. Now, what's interesting is this DOGE thing. Elon Musk. Elon Musk is sending out letters to federal employees telling them that they need to justify their work in order to remain employed. First of all, Elon Musk does not have the authority to fire anybody. That's not something that Donald Trump can give him the power to do, but he has. And what's scary is that this Republican MAGA-controlled Congress is not doing anything, not doing a single thing to stop the madness that's going on in our government right now. Now, it's really interesting to me that earlier today or yesterday, Joe Rogan actually fact-checked some of the stuff that DOGE is claiming. DOGE is claiming that they've saved all of this money, and that the Social Security system, is a complete fraud. First of all, Social Security has absolutely zero to do with the national debt. It has absolutely zero to do with the budget. It's a totally separate fund. It's not even calculated into the national debt. But something that DOGE wants to cut. He wants to cut the money that all of us hardworking Americans have paid into, so that we could collect a little bit back, once we become disabled or too old to work or what have you. They think it's an entitlement, and it is. We're entitled to it because we paid for it, plain and simple. And it's not something that's up for discussion as far as I'm concerned. Let me tell you something. I will fight. I am ready to fight. My old ass is ready to fight. I will go to war to save this country from a monarchy. The Constitution was enacted to break us away from a monarchy. And now Donald Trump is trying to take us back. But check it out. Check out this video from Joe Rogan. He fact-checked DOGE. And I was quite surprised because Joe Rogan is usually one of the biggest conspiracy theorists or one of the biggest believers of the bullshit that Donald Trump and his cronies do.
Now they're talking about Social Security, and that people are receiving Social Security that are 150 years old. But I don't think that is the reality as it's being explained by people who understand COBOL, the language, and this computer programming language that they use is ancient, right? Which is kind of crazy that they're still using that, right?
It's the government. I mean,
right?
Yeah.
So some guy who understands it was explaining that if certain factors aren't taken into consideration or certain things aren't entered in, like date of birth or when there's certain things
or date of death, or,
right? But it doesn't even necessarily mean that all these people are receiving checks.
Right. They're just listed on the files,
right?
And it doesn't mean money's going out to them, and so. Yeah, again, from a messaging perspective, does Elon need to screenshot that and then send it out as a tweet or whatever we call X nowadays, and then suddenly you've got a couple million people going, oh my God, we're paying dead people. Well,
right. That's the problem.
All right, so basically, what Joe Rogan pointed out is that Elon Musk doesn't know what the fuck he's doing in regards to this so-called audit of the Social Security system that they're doing. And part of their reasoning is the fact that, one, it's a dinosaur system. They're still using COBOL to run these systems. I mean, that's like ancient programming language. And Elon Musk doesn't know anything about COBOL, or neither does his young cronies that are working. I mean, these kids weren't even born when COBOL was first written and implemented as a programming language. And so they don't understand the data that they're getting. So, and basically what's happened is there's millions of names in the Social Security system. And over time, as computer systems have upgraded, so forth and so on. Because you got to understand first, when Social Security was first put in effect, there was no digital data systems at all. So what's happening is they're seeing all of these names that are in the system that were never transitioned over or never updated, so forth and so on, with missing start dates, missing end dates, missing born dates, missing death dates. So none of this, is being properly read. All they see is millions of names, and they feel like every name in the system is getting a check sent out, and that's not the case. That is not the case at all. So for DOGE or Elon Musk and DOGE to say, oh, we found all of these dead people that are collecting checks, it's just not true. It's bullshit. It's not true at all. And what's going to happen is they're going to destroy a system that was put in place. One, the government never should have been touching in the first place. But they have. Republicans and Democrats alike have dipped into the Social Security system to pay for black programs and to send, to foreign countries for aid. Listen, that's a fact. We know that. They've dipped into the system when they shouldn't have. However, it is something that basically just needs to be fixed so that, one, the government can't dip into it for any reason whatsoever other than what its purpose is. But more importantly, the entire Treasury system needs to be updated with modern digital technology because COBOL, still running on COBOL is ridiculous. And there's no justification for that whatsoever. That is just, it's just unacceptable. Unacceptable. However, again, DOGE doesn't know what the fuck they're doing at all. And Elon Musk is running rampant through our treasury system. And it's illegal. It's illegal. For those of you out there talking about, oh, DOGE is saving us so much money, and how can you be mad about that? He's not saving us shit. For you to think that Elon Musk is working to help us, you're out of your freaking mind. Only thing Elon Musk is up to is to help deepen his pockets, to help add billions to his bank account. He's still getting government contracts while he's so-called saving us money. He's not saving us a dime. Not a dime. I saw a thing today. Elon Musk so far has saved us $50 billion. Really? What's that? That's like 0.0000.00.5% of the total U.S. economy. We have a $6 trillion economy. What the fuck is $50 billion? That's like somebody coming to me and saying, "Yeah, Ken, your mortgage payment is $1,000 a month, but hey, I found you a savings of a nickel. You can save a whole nickel just by doing this or eliminating that. Get the fuck out of here, okay?" A savings of $50 billion ain't shit. That's basically one aircraft carrier and its entire air wing. You know what I'm saying? And support ships. Okay. We can't buy one battle group. We got 11 of them already, so knock it off. But here's the point. What they're doing is illegal. They shouldn't be in there. We have a president who has crowned himself king, and nothing is being done about it. Okay, nothing at all is being done about it. But so getting back to the point, Musk misreads Social Security data. Millions of dead people not getting benefits. This is what the experts say. All right, it's crazy to me that so many of Trump stooges, maggots, whatever you want to call them, will believe anything that this administration puts out. When we know Donald Trump is a pathological liar, he always has been. This is a man who's been convicted of 34 felonies. He's adjudicated a sexual predator. Okay, he's bankrupted 16 companies. So he's not this fantastic businessman that you idiots would like to believe. And he has no regard for law and order. No regard whatsoever. January 6th proved that. He's a treasonist. All that are supporting him are treasonous by association, even if they didn't participate directly in the treasonous activities. And we're just screwed up. The country is screwed up, and I'm afraid that we're going to end up in a shooting war. I'm afraid we're going to end up in civil war. And God, I hope not. I hope that is not what we're headed to. But unless somebody legislatively, and I'm not counting on the courts either, because he has the Supreme Court in his hip pocket. I have absolutely no confidence in the Supreme Court whatsoever. There are a few federal judges out here that are trying to fight the power, but unless Congress steps in, and says, hey, you gotta knock this shit off, I really don't see anything being done in the rest of my lifetime, quite honestly. And I'm fearful for what my children and what my grandchildren are going to have to face in the future, in the very near future. This country is coming apart at the seams, and I know a lot of you out there feel like there's nothing that can be done about it, but it is literally up to the people to take back what we've lost thus far and try to restore some sort of order in the United States. Our allies have absolutely zero confidence in us. And here's what's going to happen. And you're going to start to feel it. This is for you people that supported Donald Trump to get his dumbass back into office. Yeah, I have no respect for him. I have no respect for him. And at this point, I have no respect for the office of the president, because he has diluted it. He has turned it into a circus. But here's what's happening. Inflation is going back up. They just announced that the other day. Prices are going to continue going up. Nothing's coming down. Grocery price, egg prices are out of control. And it's funny that they focus on eggs right now. Eggs are out of control because of bird flu. Okay. How does that relate to Trump? Because Trump has a Health and Human Services department head who doesn't believe in vaccines, who doesn't believe in disease control. And with Trump firing everybody across the board and at all levels of government and all of these different agencies, do you think we're actually going to be able to get to the bottom of abolishing bird flu? Texas has a measles outbreak. And measles was eradicated in this country at one time. Didn't exist because of the measles vaccine. And for decades, measles was not something you had to worry about. Now, they have a possible measles pandemic in Texas. And don't think it can't spread to wherever you're at. Because if you're one of those non-vaccinators, your ass could be susceptible to a whole new measles outbreak. And let me tell you, it's not the same measles of back in the 60s, 70s, and 50s, and, way back in the day before the vaccine was created. Measles vaccine is a proven vaccine. Now, COVID vaccine, it's experimental. I know a lot of people got the COVID vaccine. A lot of people didn't. I got it. I'm probably kind of fucked up because of it. I don't know. I know plenty of other people that got it and they're doing just fine. So, but listen, any medication that we get, any type of vaccinations that we get, it comes with inherent risks. It just does. But sometimes those risks outweigh the consequences of not having it. Do we want a few hundred, a few thousand, maybe even a few 100,000 of people dying? Or do we want millions of people dying out of control? See, these are the choices that we have to make. And for y'all not to believe in the science is ridiculous to me. I'm not saying don't ask questions about any of it. Of course, ask questions. Get second opinions from your doctors, and other professionals. But don't just sit back and say, oh, that shit's not working. I'm not doing that. Educate yourself about these things so that you can make an educated decision. Straight up. Because right now we have a system of chaos in effect. The oligarchs are taking over this country. Elon Musk is an oligarch. I told y'all a couple of years ago Elon Musk was going to become the first supervillain. And why I said that is when he started putting up these Starlink satellites. He claims they're for the internet, to provide internet service globally. That's bullshit. Let me tell you something. Elon Musk has something else up his sleeve. And those Starlink satellites are going to help him tap into every electronic network on the planet. It's going to give him eyeballs on everything that's going on this planet. He's literally taken over the American space program. And I don't understand how the full monetary might of the United States couldn't develop what Elon Musk has done privately with SpaceX. I don't understand how he was able to create what he's created with SpaceX, and NASA couldn't do it. And the NASA budget is literally less than 1% of the national budget. Do you know that? Do you know that the money spent on the space program is so minuscule compared to other things that money is being wasted on? Okay? It seems like our biggest moneymaker for this country is selling weapons around the world. The United States is the largest weapons manufacturer and provider to the whole world. Oh, we can damn sure build and sell some weapons to kill more people. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? We're supposed to be the beacon of freedom. And let me tell you something. Do you really believe that Donald Trump is trying to end the war in Ukraine because he cares about the Ukrainian people or he cares about the Russian people. Not at all. He's a Russian agent. He's a Putin flunky. He's about to sell Ukraine out. Ukraine is about to lose their country because Donald Trump and the Russians are going to make a deal. Aren't you paying attention? Donald Trump is already trying to take their mineral rights. What kind of con job are y'all falling for? He's trying to take Ukrainian mineral rights for rare earth minerals. He told them if they signed over half of their mineral rights, he would consider continuing military support. But no, and even that's not good. Because Donald Trump's the type of guy that'll sign a deal, take the mineral rights, and still sell Ukraine out down the river. His top intelligence person is a Russian propagandist. His Secretary of Defense is a Russian propagandist. Trump has been married to 2 Eastern Bloc women, but he has no ties to Russia. Are you fucking kidding me? Come on, people. Come on. Don't be so slow. Don't be so slow. We're running out of time. We are running out of time. Donald Trump is going to destroy this country. And that's real. And if you're looking forward to elections, midterms, or elections in 2028, you can probably forget about it. Donald Trump's not going to leave office until he's dead. And if he dies in office, God help us, because the next man in line is even worse. Do you really want J.D. Vance to be president of the United States? He's even worse than Donald Trump. Why? Because one, he's smarter than Donald Trump. This is a guy who finagled his way into becoming vice president after being one of Donald Trump's biggest critics back in the day. And did you see the interview just recently with Donald Trump? Doesn't feel like J.D. Vance is the one that can take over. So I want y'all to think about that. Y'all really need to pay attention to what comes out of this man's mouth, because he's not just talking just to be talking. And we got a lot of work to do, y'all. We got to hit the streets. We got to say it loud. We don't want any more of this bullshit. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. And don't complain if you don't do anything. If you don't take part in trying to fix this country the right way. We got a lot of work. Yeah, we're not perfect. We're not the perfect society. We got a lot of problems, but this ain't it. This ain't the solution. Donald Trump is not the fucking savior. MAGA is not the way to go. I don't know if I'm going to see it in my lifetime, but I sure am hoping and praying that before I leave this world, we get back on the right track. I was going to take phone calls tonight, but my audio interface is not working, so I couldn't hook up my phone system. However, please leave some comments. Let me know what you think about this whole situation. Let me know if you're going to be a soldier or a sheep. I'd like to hear from you. I'm your man's Ken Jackson. It's been the Ken Jackson Experience. We are done. Peace.